Hello, everyone. I'm Sue Annan, and I'd like to welcome you to this session of the TESOL Italy 48th Convention. The certificate for you will be available to download from the convention page of the TESOL Italy website after the convention. Our speaker for this session is Anna Matura, and I'm really looking forward to her session on the art of smart teaching in the 21st century. So now I'll hand you over, and it's all yours, Anna.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And I'm so happy that we have our participants ready and looking forward to get to the heart of ELT. Yes, my topic for today is the art of smart teaching in the 21st century. So without further ado, let me just share my screen and enjoy. Now, I hope that you will have a lot of questions, and yeah, I'd be really happy to answer all of your questions there after the session. I suppose that's better because you may have some other ideas along the way generating. So let's start. When we talk about teaching, sometimes we think it's just a profession. To be honest, for me, it's art. It's art, and we're creating different things. Why do I think like that, that we need to create? Because it depends on the environment that you are set in. It depends on the age group, your needs, and the needs of your learners. So, from my perspective, I'll be talking about primary school students, secondary schools learners as well, university students, as well as adults. So, at this stage, I'm not only a teacher, I'm also a teacher trainer and a therapist, which is quite important because I will try to show you some techniques, methods, and ideas, again, easy ideas that can help you to be an artist. It's the art of teaching. Of course, you're also welcome to add your points because I know you are artists too, and you work in different environments. So your experience is crucial, is valued, and let's share all that together. I work a lot with neurodivergent students too. So certain approaches that work with neurodivergent minds work really well with neurotypical learners as well. Okay, let's start. The first thing is reflection and also your expectations. So this setting for me, any kind of webinar or a lesson, is it with learners or with teachers, is always about expectations. And what do you think? What would you like to get from this session, from the lesson? My first question to you is, what does high quality teaching mean to you? If you want to be an artist, you need to create, fine. But you may have some positive experiences so far that you want to share. But I think it's worth also to bring up some not so good experiences to avoid them. Okay? So that's your question, please. And you can use the chat uh, if you can, please. Or you can unmute yourselves if you want, if that's possible, and then we can share. I'm not able to see the chat right now, so I stop sharing and I will just see the chat quickly. There we go. If there are any responses? Learner-centered work. Yes, absolutely. The approach to go for putting the learners in the center. Okay. There are any other responses? Please don't be shy, just work away. I will read the chat and then more questions as promised at the end. Okay. Thank you so much. Any not so good experiences or something to avoid? Welcome as well. I refer to the chat in a second. So this is the main point for me too. and to share with you self-reflection, what to expect, where to go, all that. So the next thing is, if you think in your practice, working with students, you're opening the window to the world for them. Okay, the next question is how. Okay, how do you do it and why? You cannot teach motivation, in my opinion, but you can spark interest. Okay, interest and curiosity. These days, there's a shift, a big transformation going on. When you think of the traditional approach, when the teacher was really presenting all the things and showing how to do things, right? It is changing. For me, what I've noticed is that it's more about putting that question, why are you doing that? Why do you want to learn? How are you going to use that? So introducing novelty, uniqueness, and every lesson should be different, but still there will be some elements like guidance. So our role is really undergoing some transformation. In my opinion, it's guidance plus autonomy. The more autonomy we allow in the classroom, the better. Yes, lessons should be learner-centered. And how can we achieve that? The aim here, this is getting to the heart of ELT, knowing what really works, what counts. So the art of teaching, you may say, is the art of assisting discovery. At the same time, the art of smart teaching. Well, next question to you. What is your idea? You may use the chat again, please. Smart teaching, what would it be for you? I stop sharing again and see if we have something in the chat. There we go. Questions, answers. Okay. So it's really important that as you go, okay, you think about your practice, that self-reflection. Very good. I go back to my slides now. Thank you so much. Smart, of course, we probably are aware all here about the goals that should be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. But today I want to go a bit further, okay, on that topic. So be creative, do things your way, and find your inner artist. It's not just for the students, that message is also for you. Okay, so being open-minded. And it's also about finding the right approach. Now, you may say there is no one size fits all approach. Exactly. So the point here is, what is the reality for you? Who are you working with right now? And what are their expectations? Going back to the needs, they are ever changing. And especially after the pandemic, we can see that shift, and the need for a more holistic approach is like going to a doctor. I would say, okay, we have something to do, and I would need to examine and test and see the big picture, check everything, absolutely everything. Okay. And then I could see, okay, where are we? What has worked so far? And where do I want to be? I chose this image as it represents bridging the gap, okay, between reality and expectations as well, like putting all those worlds closer together. And the teacher is the building block. And if you want to build, you need to remove the obstacles along the way, right? So again, that's another thing. I will talk about obstacles later as well, mental blocks, maybe behavioral approaches, and so on. I mentioned I'm a therapist too, so cognitive behavioral therapy is number one for me, as well as the therapeutic use of mindfulness or neurolinguistics. So we go back to removing obstacles and how to do it. The last point here is the supporting environment. When you look at the group or the class, the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So my point here is, you need to get to know each learner really, really well. You may say that the majority of students are doing quite well. But are you able to create a supporting environment that suits all of them? If not, well, it is changing the mindset to even think about it. What else could I implement? Okay. So the reflection corner coming next. What would have to happen for you to change or adjust your current approach? Okay. Because you may think it's been working all right, fine. But my mindset is it's the art. Create. What else is there? How comfortable do you feel about leaving your comfort zone? And again, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, uses a lot of um, comparing using a scale to where you are and where do you want to be. So one, I'm not too comfortable right now, and then we can clearly see the results if you're moving forward. Okay. So the question to you, and please remember, the comfort zone is actually the enemy of growth. We think that, okay, I'm not touching this, it has been working. All right. To me, absolutely not. Okay. Introducing something new. Why is that so important? If you think about your toolbox, okay, and the same resources, the same approach, the same mindset, what is the danger? Well, if the only tool you have is a hammer, you tend to see every problem as a nail. So you may start using some labels, or you may just see those things not as they should be seen. So it's inspecting, monitoring, checking, being more reflective on your practice as well. So your mindset, is it right now to fix or not to fix? If you're on the same page, okay, if you're following, is that the question we should ask now? Okay. And you may say, fine, but if I'm introducing new things, it's gonna take time, and it's time consuming and takes a lot of energy and so on. So what is the price of the prize? To me, again, it's the quality over quantity. It does not have to be a lot of different things, but trying to find the gaps, okay, and what can be really fixed. And you can start where you are. I'm not saying, I'm not um, criticizing, absolutely not, that something has not worked. It has not worked so far. Or remember, there is a thing called, it's a cognitive bias that you may actually think of your decision or what have I done based on the results that she can see that it was wrong. No, at that time, if you're trying your best every single time using the resources you have at a given moment, probably it was the best decision. So from here, right now, the only way up is just improve, go forward, okay, and have that mindset of creativity. The next point is the synergy, because teaching and your approach cannot be disorganized. Okay. Continuity, continuous improvement. You build on the base, but how can you build on the base? You need to check everything, measure everything. Okay. So the proper arrangement is number one. The next thing is adaptation. So you adapt to the situation, to the classroom, different concepts, different minds, different needs, aims. You need to think of the time frame as well. Adjustment, okay? Adjusting things, not changing, because change as such can be scary for you and for the students. So the art of teaching is flexibility. And again, for teachers who have been teaching for many, many years, that can be, well, something new in a way that, again, it's the hammer. Maybe you need more tools, right? Versus stability. So how comfortable um, do you feel about using what works? Okay, increase efficiency. How can you do it? Increase efficiency through optimizing the process. I mean, my mindset is also based on management and marketing, because that's my other master's degree, not just applied linguistics. And as an educational consultant, I would go and I would check, okay, what is that process? Let's find the gaps together, the chains, and so on. So optimizing everything, not using too much energy when you don't have to. Okay. And it's always about creating the conditions for growth. So start where you are and move forward. There is a strategy called the EDGE strategy, which aims at maximizing results for growth, of course, and you capitalize on opportunities. Here's the big question to you. When you go to the classroom, are you focusing on your lesson plan, what should be done, homework, and then over and over again? Same thing. To me, the classroom is just one of the learning environments. So, what are the other opportunities? I invite students to go out there, use the knowledge right away after the lesson with some self reflection done before we finish. Then come back to me. We'll celebrate your achievements, your successes every single day. Think about your time management every single day. And again, eliminating waste. I mean, do you waste your time on something? Is your thinking um, towards the future? Is it forward thinking, or do you spend too much time on things like, oh, I worry too much, it has not worked? Building resilience. Okay, past is in the past. This is the present moment right now. So mindfulness is huge in my approach. That's a big, big building block. Maybe you've heard of the 20/80 rule. It is very popular in business marketing and so on, management. Um, the main idea here is that just 20% of certain things may impact the 80% of the overall result. So think, what is it? If we talk about maybe listening skills, pronunciation or grammar, or you may have heard from students that, oh, I hate reading. Again, I'm a dyslexia tutor, so literacy skills, big thing, and trying to chunk it down and just find what is that for that person. If they say, I can't speak, I cannot read, it's like, really? You're just speaking, you're reading that. So what is it? The 20%. It's a big thing for me. And I create plans for students. Trust me, it does not have to be time consuming, but it works, not only in management. Think about it this way, please. You have 60 minutes, 60 ideas for fun and engagement. Okay? And go back to your students. Don't be afraid to ask what is the best part for them. Ask them, how did you feel? What made you feel this way? What do you want to repeat? Okay? What do you want to improve yourself? So I teach my learners analytical skills, reflective skills. I invite them to share the responsibility. I always say, look, I'm a lifelong learner. I'm doing my best and I'm here to help you, but I facilitate. Okay. So that works. And you can start that even with primary school learners. They're delighted if they can share. A lot is based on brain friendly techniques as well. So first, I just show them what we're going to do. But my main point is, why are we doing it? Okay. And how are you going to do that? I suggest options, but I let them choose the means of delivery. So how can they show me that they know, that they have understood? They know what they are learning and the purpose, what's the meaning, okay? And something for you. Has it happened for you that the students actually were like, oh my gosh, it's break time already? If that happened, well done. So they can, yes, well done to you. They can notice that something is changing if you let them lead the lesson as well. Well, you may ask me for some ideas how to be even more creative. That's a list of my suggestions. Like I use a lot of humor. You need to be approachable to just build a rapport and introducing maybe poems or storytelling, mnemonics, games, music, rhythm, anything you want, what works for your group. And if you feel comfortable, well, even if it's new, try. Um, if it's nice, play it twice. I say sometimes I use a lot of rhymes. Now, reflective journal can be a thing every single week. You invite your students to do that. It can be a gratitude journal as well. I'm grateful. To keep the positive mindset is so important. Actually, when we wake up, our default thinking is danger, it's bad, just detecting, threats in the environment for survival. So if you wake up and say, that's another day, I'm so happy, I'm going to try this and that and learn. It's a journey. It's a journey full of discovery. Okay. It's not just one destination. No, not at all. Next is outdoor activities, like more self-study time. Another thing. So the art of smart teaching, in my opinion, is implementing this area again and stressing it so much. I do it. I say, if we meet for 1 hour, 2, 3, or 4 hours, okay, how about the rest of your day? Self-study time. I will give you tools, I will give you direction and the guidance, and you will tell me how effective you are. Okay. So you need to find out, is it the intrinsic motivation or extrinsic? So that's very, very important. But ultimately, critical thinking skills. Okay. Students should not be afraid to ask questions, to analyze things and see and show the different perspective. Very, very important. And if I start asking those questions, what is the way you learn? How do you remember things? Well, we're going to the meta model and metacognitive skills as well. It's thinking about your thinking, about your learning and the whole process. Okay. I'm a neurolinguist. So my question to you, I wonder, do you ever use any elements of neuro, how the brain works, finding new connections, faster connections, associations, patterns, and realizing the power of the language that you use in the class? It's just amazing. And those different metamodals refer to it being visual, auditory, more kinesthetic, or a mixture. Again, in my practice, working with neurodivergent kids, that's super important. And if you have any questions after the session, please get back to me because I've actually started creating different worksheets, content, materials, because that's inquiry based. So this is building the bridge. When we talk about the traditional approach, I'm not leaving it aside. I still teach according to some concepts that work. Plus, that therapeutic approach as a therapist, again, you need to be qualified for that. That's why some teacher training and so on. If you're interested, there are some basic things that you can do too. So I'm happy to pass the knowledge on. And another thing is ask your learners, invite them. Okay. So all about neuro part, and I'm a neuro language coach too. So with possibly more with adults, I would use the coaching approach, neuro language, but that's for later. We're talking about the art for you. Yes, the main point is finding the link between your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Please think about it for a while. Are there any mental blocks for you or your students? Any cognitive distortions? Again, I may invite you to another webinar about cognitive distortions, but is it any black or white thinking or generalizing or something that students say, but they are not aware of that this is the point, the 20% that may be actually preventing them from moving forward? Okay. What is the language you use? Persuasive language, or maybe sometimes even not aware, you say things like, this is difficult, or things like that. So brain-friendly techniques are there for you. You can start using them, and how the information is processed, how it works. And it's very good for communication as well. So fast response. You're tapping into the subconscious mind because a lot of things are not expressed verbally. Students cannot say it. They can't even think that something is there stopping them, okay? Stopping them from seeing the potential. And you have to feel good. You have to feel good to actually start processing things before you use the prefrontal cortex and so on. It's all about emotions and the amygdala hijack. Yes, fight, flight, or freeze response. Try not to go that way. So, a feel good lesson. That's my article as well in the Modern English Teacher from July this year in the magazine. Make them feel good. Sometimes the emotions and instincts are so strong that fear is number one. But fear is actually what? False expectations of appearing real. Yes, think about it now. Call me your inner chimp. And in my opinion, if you are able to present complex concepts in a really fun, engaging way, everyone is with you. They want to learn, they want to listen to it. And if that's your passion again, that's even better and easier for you. Passion is passing it on. Okay. And nonverbal communication, of course, be aware of that. Mindfulness, you are right now in the present moment. The missing element quite often is self-regulation. So embracing emotions. Number one, acceptance, faith, and resilience. After some experiences like, oh, I have not done this too well, oh, I could have done this better. Students say those things and they can stick to one label in their heads that I'm not good at this or that. No, just try to change their attitude and that will determine their altitude, how far they can go. Okay. So building resilience. And you're presenting it with your knowledge, with your language, okay? Your attitude. So be careful of your projection if you come into the class and how you talk about all those things. Yeah. If you start, this is easy, this is how we can do it, this is what you're going to learn and how it's going to help you while you're learning. Again, it's like the menu in the restaurant. Every single thing counts, right? Okay. Another thing is removing labels. So it's very much linked to having that picture in the class that this person is this person is that, or strengths, weaknesses. Okay. But if you invite them to work together and create that plan, like all about the content. Okay. I'm not asking you to shorten the lesson or change the lesson plan completely, but are they happy? So content and content. It has to be meaningful. Okay. Think about emotions. Number one, it works miracles. And you may discover that you're more than a teacher. Again, an artist. So create more conscious engagement, spark an interest, empowerment. This is at the heart of everything. Even this is what we're talking about. Everything is all about heart, okay, and emotions. To help you with some self-reflection, I have a few sentences there to finish for you. If I were a student, I would say that my teacher is. How do your students see you? Like the best lesson I've ever given was when? Okay, the best, but why is it the best? Why not every lesson is the best? Okay, don't pick just one. Try to make every opportunity that you have with the students the best. Okay, or try something different. Now, I know I'm progressing. You're becoming an artist in my profession because you need to see it, visible results, and measuring all that. I'm not talking about just weekly assessments. It's assessments, of course, beforehand for learning, assessment of the learning process. No, I'm talking about, is your attitude, your strategy working? Is everybody happy? And don't be afraid to be more flexible. What are your other skills as well? Okay. So we are generating more and more ideas, and you may be not, I don't like to say just a teacher, only a teacher with other superpowers, super skills, and knowledge, right? Throughout the years. So you can be a teacher trainer, a coach, a mentor. Um, and you can change maybe your specialization or choose it or dig deeper. Okay, so develop and grow. And it's all about, yes, I like it, or I don't like it. We don't like it, you're not engaging into something. It's the same mindset for the students. So uh, that's a little reminder for you. And the last part, I suppose, is inclusion, diversity. Okay. As a specialist working with neurodivergent kids, as I mentioned, mainly dyslexia, but not only, then it's so important to build that safe environment, okay, with gratitude, with kindness, and that collaboration going on all the time. You need to observe. A lot of time is uh, inquiry based. In my case, it's a multisensory approach. Why? Again, because it allows you to adopt, okay? It allows you to find more about the skills and also the needs of your students, how they respond, how they react. And I go back very quickly to what I said before, different ways of expression, of delivery. And again, is it we're just trying to pass on, and from our perspective, you will need this in life, or is it asking the learners, listen, these are the skills of the future. It's like showing the menu again. Which one do you want to work on right now? Maybe next week, maybe later. So finding the optimal time as well for that. You're showing what's there to grab and letting them find their own time as well, their own technique. And if you say, listen, it can be easier, it can be faster, listen to your emotions, know how the brain works, and your mind will follow. Okay. So a multisensory approach works really well, really, really well for me. So work smart, not hard, and show your students that it's possible to achieve that. What's important versus what's necessary. Okay. Do they act or do they react? For you as a teacher, I will wrap this up in a few minutes. It's important to set some boundaries as well. Okay. That you're not taking too much on. Um, Finding the work-life balance, of course. Be careful, burnout. It's very dangerous. So trying to find again ways to optimize, yeah, your practice and the ways you work. The big revolution happening right now, AI, Chat GPT. Just implement those ideas, find a plan for yourself, be flexible and creative, because being creative is being an artist, right? And a fresh start, if you think like, okay, thanks, Anna, I'm gonna think about it. It's not really a new place that you have to be or get into. No, it's a new mindset. And hopefully it's happening right now that you can realize that you can implement those things. I put a few points there for you for further reading. And again, I'm happy to connect also with you after this webinar. And yeah, so reflective practice, all about critical thinking skills, atomic habits. So slowly, but surely, you will implement some new methods, like creating new habits. You need to remove what has not worked and be open to change. This is very important. Know yourself better through metacognition and calm your inner chimp. Okay. So think about your emotions and how they can affect you and the lesson as well. So always listen to the heart, then the brain, and the mind will follow. So thank you so much for today. I will stop sharing and I'll be able to see the chat properly now. This is how you can contact me. You can find me on LinkedIn um, as well, or I'm very happy to answer any messages. Right. So thank you. Stop sharing.
We don't seem to have any questions in the chat
Mm-hmm.
because they disabled it, but the
Yes, that's
question and answers have all been answered. But
okay.
on behalf of TESOL Italy, I'd really like to thank you for the most excellent presentation. And I'd like to thank all you participants for taking part too. Remember that certificates of attendance will be available if you download them from the convention page of the TESOL Italy website after the convention is finished. And you can now move on. Oh, looks like we have a question. Oh, no, thank you. It was a great session.
Thank you so much. And I'm very happy that so many teachers want to be artists. Okay, I'm pretty sure we all want to grow together, but by sharing our experiences, this is the way to go. Yeah, we can learn and see and change and adopt and adjust feelings. I hope I made you feel happier and more aware of what is out there to put on the menu, teaching menu. Thank you so much as well.
And if you'd like to move on to the next part. Jessica Frizzle says it was very uplifting and thought-provoking. And thank you.
Thank you so much. So it looks like the mission has been achieved. And yeah, I wonder, again, please, guys, you can connect with me easily, and I'd be happy to know what is it for you as well in your own practice that you want to know more about, because the time is limited. But again, is it resources or maybe some international projects? Because I do it a lot, empowering my students and showing them different ways. So I work internationally. I'm talking to you from Cork, Ireland. And yeah, hopefully we'll get to meet again soon.
Super.
That's perfect. Yeah. I could recap more if we have the time, or I can see that some.
We have 5 minutes.
We have 5 minutes. Wonderful. So again, what I do always with the class, I'm happy we have the time. It's self-reflection. I can share very quickly the screen again, just to leave you with those questions, okay? And you can go back. It's like homework, but I tend to give homework at the start of the lesson linked with the aims of the lesson, okay? So going back was what would have to happen for you to change or adjust the current approach? Okay, for you, are you ready to start? It's overcoming the resistance as well. Okay, you have to be open-minded. You may say, no, I don't need that. Or you may say, absolutely, I'll go for it. So being comfortable, and you need to know yourself better, self-reflection, self-awareness. Okay, and thinking of you as well, like growing. What are your goals too? Your aims? How do you want to improve? Do you want to be a better teacher? It's the end of 2023. So how about your goals for 2024? Okay. Leave your comfort zone. You will grow faster. Definitely. So those tools I'm talking about, well, hopefully I have shown you more ideas and you will put them into the toolbox there. Adaptation and adjustment. I mean, it's very important you know the group really well, the group you're working with and the audience. Is it the presentation only? Is it just a lesson, or you continue with the same group? So the dynamics, okay? If you're implementing some things, again, that flexibility, allow it, okay? Don't be afraid. Ask for suggestions, okay? And removing cognitive distortions. That's very important. Very important. You may say, that well, they are maybe too young, okay? So there's some kind of resistance, or they may not need that. I don't know how the parents will react, or maybe it's going to take up too much of the lesson that I've been doing this way and that way. So okay, planning, forward thinking. It's like this goal for this week or this day. It's very important. And improving memory. another point too. Yes, I'll stop here. Even more. Memory improvement techniques. It's linked to brain-friendly techniques. If you wish to read more, I wrote an article for International House Journal. The title is Unforgettable Memory Improvement Techniques. And this is more or less what I use, what works really, really well. Again, you can contact me, or I'll try to put the link there into the chat right now, because that's available online. It's happening, yes, and there we go. If you're interested, there we go, 1 sec, and send. Yes, it appears in the chat. So the 20% and the 80% of the results can be problems with memory, strengthening memory, teaching about emotions and the impact as well on behavior. Self-regulation all the time is the base. And being very much open-minded, okay? Implementing ideas. We will see other and hear other sessions, yeah, how other teachers do it or see it. So yeah, sharing the knowledge, I suppose, all the time. Great. There are messages. I'm not yeah, it's not visible in the. Can you please send the link to the article? Oh, here. Okay. If it's not in the chat, please do get in touch with me. Maybe LinkedIn is the best place, or the email. We can't see the chat. Okay. All right. So in that case, I know. I'll share the screen again and show you the last page with my contact details. There we go. Okay. So, or send me an email. I'm very, very happy to connect and work together internationally. So anna.trainyourbrain@gmail.com. And Train Your Brain is the title of the workshops that I do for kids as well. So it's all linked. All right.
Super. And our participants are beginning to go. So they're starting to move to the next session, which will be starting very soon.
Very good. Yes, thank you. So once I'm still live, there was a question about sharing further readings. No problem at all. Again, here's the page coming up. There you go. Self-reflection, critical thinking skills, building atomic habits, metacognition, and all about emotions, instincts, and calming your inner chimp. Great. I hope that helps. Very good.
Okay.
Yeah, there's still people in the room. So guys, let me just say thank you so much.